Welcome to the Drivin Agricultural Podcast. I'm your host, Jordan Joe Hollabaugh, professional breakaway roper and a member of the AgTruckTrader Pro Rodeo team. Here at Drivin Agriculture, we are all things agriculture all the time, and our main priority is doing what's best in the ag space, talking trucks. So strap in and let's go roll some coal. Okay, welcome back to the Drivin Agricultural Podcast. Today we are resuming talking about the AgWagon, which we're also excited about that. We've been talking about it all month long, but hey, why not talk about it again? So today we're going to talk about the Pro Rodeo AgWagon edition, which, beginning of this, we talked about the AgWagon, how it was capable for all farm and ranch needs and everything else. But then because AgTruckTrader Certified Ag Group is such a huge part in rodeo, they're like, hey, what about rodeo? Why don't we make this truck rodeo capable? So they came alongside of Fox Factory and they added 10 additional things, cool things we're going to talk about today for rodeo. So here with me today, I have our team leader, Mr. Leighton, and I also have the manager of business development. She wears many hats of PRCA Rodeo, Miss Darla Lentz, at the show today. So you guys, welcome to the show and thanks for joining me.
Thank you, Jordan. It's good to be here. Hi, Leighton.
Hi, how's it going? Thanks for having me on.
We all like to talk about rodeo. I mean, we could talk about rodeo all day. So, Darla, tell me a little bit when the AgTruckTrader, the Certified Ag Group, reached out to the PRCA about being a part of this Pro Rodeo AgWagon edition. What were your initial thoughts on the project and teaming up with this team?
Well, it was such a revelation. It was a game changer, truly. You and I started the conversation about how does PRCA connect with AgTruckTrader, just in terms of partnering. And then they presented this idea of the AgWagon. And what if we did a Pro Rodeo Special Edition? And this is a historical moment for PRCA because we have never had a licensed, Pro Rodeo Special Edition truck. And so when they presented the idea, we had a lot of questions. We were very excited. We were going, how do we even do this? Where do we start? And so it just has been a game changer and very exciting.
100%. I think everybody was excited to just start the conversation. Leighton, how long have you pro rodeoed for? I feel like you've been around a long time.
Yeah, I'm starting to. I bought my card in 2019, I guess. So I'm coming on 6 years of rodeoing professionally full time. And it kind of snap of the fingers goes by pretty fast, as I'm sure you know. But I think we still got a lot left in the tank. So it's pretty exciting. All the things that we're doing with the AgWagon, it's really groundbreaking and very special to be a part of.
100%. And now that you say that, that's when I started pro rodeoing too. So I guess that makes me just as wisdomized as you are. I don't want to call us old because we're not veterans, but it goes by so fast being a part of rodeo. And one of the things that I absolutely love about rodeo is I feel like I learn something new each and every year that I'm out there on the road. When I started this venture off, I thought, man, okay, after this first year, I'm going to get it figured out. And then it's going to be like smooth sailing from there. And I have continued every year to be like, okay, this year I'm going to get it figured out and it's going to be smooth sailing from there. So Leighton, talk a little bit about what you've learned on the road and traveling wise. Like you and I travel a little bit different. You're a rough stock rider. I'm a timed event girl. So it looks a little bit different. So as you've traveled and rodeoed these last 6 years, what are some of the key takeaways that you've learned from being out on the road that you really need in a truck?
Yeah, I mean, it changes year to year. Like you said, you think you got it figured out and then you don't. But I mean, obviously, whenever people look at the overview of what we do, I mean, we're basically just truck drivers that rodeo part-time. We're putting, anywhere from 30 to almost 50,000 miles on a pickup and no telling how many sky miles, so we're constantly traveling. And the first thing that I learned coming out of the gate was how you need to be very dependable on your vehicle to get to the rodeo. That's how we make a living. So my rookie year, I was in a 2005 standard Dodge that I had worked on and off on, and it had 200,000 plus miles, and it was a great truck, but I didn't quite have the money for a new one. But the first time that it left me and my partner Cole Reiner stranded in the Nevada desert while we were trying to make the NFR, that's when I said, you know what, I think just getting to the point where we can just be good enough to afford a new vehicle and be reliable on it, that's going to be a huge game changer. So the very next year we were in brand new pickups because we know we got to get from point A to point B. And that's really one of the very first huge things that I learned in rodeo is you got to be dependable on the rig that's getting you to and from the rodeo. So coming this far and seeing the way trucks have evolved and changed, I never thought that we would have been able to, partake in literally creating a new vehicle, let alone a pro rodeo edition. So it's really mind boggling to be a part of it.
Well, and that was one of the cool things too, as you talked about that. Like we were a part of it. There was a whole crew that got together and was literally like set on a panel. There was farmers, ranchers, rodeo people. Darla, I know PRCA was on there as well. Like we all kind of melting pot wise created this truck together. So it was really neat to see. The AgWagon specifically has 28 modifications that adds onto the truck. The Pro Rodeo AgWagon edition has additionally 10 things that we added on as rodeo, focused on this truck, which is pretty cool. Some of those things are there's a Starlink for Jordan and all of her internet needs. No, I'm just kidding. But there's a Starlink adapter. There's a trailer camera, pet bed, hat rack, 360-degree lighting, gooseneck hitch. So Darla, talk about like when you guys were on this meeting and you were a part of this board and you were listening to these conversations, and you were actually hearing that Fox Factory was going to be able to put these capabilities on a truck. It's tailored. We're talking about rodeo today, so we'll say it's tailored to rodeo. Did you think you would ever see a truck like that?
It's so unique and how it came about with all of the different ideas and then how you narrow it down to, just 10. I mean, there were some really great ideas. And so it's just fun to see the creativity of, the pro rodeo team. You guys know you're out on the road. You know what your challenges are. You know what you need. You know what would just make life a little bit easier. And so it was just fun to hear the different perspectives. I'm not traveling down the road. Nicole's not traveling down the road like you all are. And so there were things that we would have never thought of. So I'm so glad that AgWagon had the wisdom, the team had the wisdom to bring you all in. One of our statistics that we often share is our athletes travel an average of 60,000 miles a year. And whether it's sky miles or on the road, and so what are those very unique features that just make it better for you guys? And that's what was probably the funnest part of seeing this all come together is the collaboration and the ideas and the creativity. It's just been fun. A lot of fun.
It was fun. LB, we have a whole AgTruckTrader Pro Rodeo team. We always talk about. The one I was given the hardest time to was our barrel racing team member, Jackie Ganner. She has like 500 dogs. So she was really excited about the pet bed customized for her AgWagon. But talk about some of the uses that stuck out to you that you were excited to see on this AgWagon that would make rodeo life a little bit easier if you did have an AgWagon.
I mean, really what you got to ask yourself is what does this truck not have? When we had a role in kind of putting this truck together, I thought they would probably take some of our ideas and do with what they made, but and I was actually shocked that I was the one that came up with the dog bed. I don't even travel with the dogs, but I was like, I know how many dogs all these barrel racers travel with, and I'm like,
ropers have.
they always need room for them in the truck. So that was an idea I threw out there, and it was unbelievable that they took all of our ideas in, and I don't know that there was very many that they didn't check the box on and put in there. From the suspension to the cameras, I mean, all of it comes together. Even the tires that they're putting on it, it all goes into having a reliable pickup truck, whether you're on the farm in the ranch or you're traveling up and down the road safely pulling a horse trailer. Really, it covers all the bases, so it's worth every penny.
Well, and I agree with that. It's the reliability. We talked to Jim Mueller last week, who is getting the first edition AgWagon 0001. And that's what he over and over, he was like, the suspension, the reliability, like these are the tools that I need while I'm outside doing what I do. And same with you and I mean, literally, I don't think people understand the fact that, they see us at Reno, they see us at Cody, they see us they don't really see like behind the scenes where if you don't get out of Reno in time to get to Greeley, like you're not making the slack there. Or, if you have a 12-hour drive, you've only got 30 minutes to stop and those things. So having these additional capabilities on this truck is huge. One of my favorites is the trailer camera. Just as much as we're in the trailer or the truck in the trailer, we don't get to stop that much, right? We try to stop every 6 to 8 hours to let our horses out if we can. But in the meantime, sometimes there's not. Sometimes there's times where we drive 10, 12 hours and don't get to let them off. So having that trailer camera back there to be able to see what's going on, if they're eating, if they're comfortable, things like that, just total peace of mind for me. So I was excited about that. Raymond was excited about the hat rack because I just take my hats off and, chunk them. Like, fine, wore it, whatever. And he's always bending on my hat because he says it looks terrible. And, it's a Colorado thing. I don't know, but yeah, he's a little partial, but I think it's pretty cool to see. I know everybody in our team's excited about it. But Leighton, you travel with a Capri camper, so yours looks a little bit different than mine. What else other than the suspension and all that, like out of these 10 extra add-ons, what's something that sticks out to you that you're like, this is going to make rodeoing good for me?
Oh man, if you just look at the sleekness of the interior and the seats, it's just a comfortable truck. And we're not obviously pulling quite the weight that you guys are, but yeah, I mean that I keep coming back to the suspension. We have the campers on. A lot of times we have heavy generator boxes that just attach right there on the receiver hitch. So the weight distribution is a little bit different compared to pulling, a horse trailer with its own axles. So being able to ride smoothly, sometimes, just like you said, we're trying to get from point A to point B. We don't have much time to stop. And even though we try to kick back and take naps in the camper, we don't feel safe back there. So like, a lot, recent years, the truck's back seats are obviously pretty small, and the inside of the cab just aren't that comfortable. These new AgWagons, like, they provide the room and the space that we need. Even if we're 3 guys in, we can set up in the back, take a nap, stay out of the camper. Obviously, they're well made, but you don't want to be caught in, some sort of traffic jam or wreck where you'd be in the back of the camper getting thrown around, obviously. So being able to kind of have your home in there is awesome. The hat racks are amazing because us as rough stock riders, we do the same thing. We're sticking our hats in every nook and cranny in the camper and getting out and going to the airport looking like we've never been to a rodeo in our life because it looks like our hat's been in the glove box. So that's a big deal. And man, what a game changer for the cameras. I've always thought about how you guys must feel whenever you're traveling those long hours. Obviously the horses are tough, but whenever they're having to compete in their event, and you're tossing them in the horse trailer, and whether it be through the night or in the heat of the day, always making sure that they're sounding okay, because just right behind having a reliable rig, you got to have reliability in your horsepower. So making sure that they're getting from point A to point B like they should is a big time deal. So I mean, everything that they've done has been made for people like us and farm and ranchers, and it's top of the line.
Yeah, 100%. I think you nailed it. And one of the cool things, we got to travel this past 2024 and actually see the first ever edition built AgWagon promo. And it is a official Pro Rodeo AgWagon. So it has Pro Rodeo branding and all the things alongside of it. Darla, you didn't get to be there, but your coworker, he actually got to be there and sit in there. So talk a little bit about that and what his first, Mr. Paul Woody, what his first expression was when he saw the Pro Rodeo Edition AgWagon and the unveiling, and what kind of went through his mind and was reciprocated back to the PRCA.
This is a great question, because it was really, I think, a fun moment, because Paul had not been part of most of the conversations leading up to, some input, behind the scenes in terms of, leadership and stuff like that. But for him to actually see for the first time, the end product, it was a special moment for him. And just to be involved in seeing your response, you athletes, the ones who put in, the input into the design, was just a really fun moment and exciting to get to that place, that we're launching, it's revealed, and it's go time.
Yeah. I think too, to add on to that, it's go time, right? Like, pro rodeos are fixing to start. Everybody's getting excited. I feel like we're finishing up on the California run, and Reno's right around the corner. So it's like, here comes the season. Darla, talk a little bit about the fan base. So this is an actual truck. And one of the takeaways for me on the outside in, and you tell me your thoughts, but it's like, one of the things where rodeo, other than the Cowboy Channel, is that fans really don't get to be as involved with rodeo athletes as they do, like maybe have an NFL or NBA or things like that. We don't really have jerseys yet. Maybe we should. They'd be walking around with Barry on their back. But
Yeah.
talk about how these fans can actually be a part and be similar to rodeo athletes and connect with them on that level when they're driving the Pro Rodeo AgWagon edition.
Well, I think the unique features of the truck, it's options, function, and form all wrapped up. It's OEM neutral. So if a fan is, partial to Ford or Chevy or Ram, they get to choose that base OEM and but also understand when they see the features of these trucks why they're important to athletes and just kind of sit in that seat. And like Leighton said, this is their home away from home. There's a home on the road, and it just makes that more meaningful. And so I can see where, it meets the needs of farmers, ranchers, pro rodeo athletes. The fans can get involved and support pro rodeo. We've always had, t-shirts and hoodies and hats and leather coats and all the merchandise, but now we have a truck. Now we have an actual truck that you can go and buy and support pro rodeo, support the athletes. One of the things that we keep top of mind here at PRCA comes down from leadership is we always ask the question, is this decision good for membership? And this truck and this endeavor checked all the boxes. So fans are going to love it.
Well, and I love how that is the center focus of the leadership is this good for membership, because that's what we're based on here at Pro Rodeos, WPRA. It's all about memberships and keeping everybody involved. And I know everybody wants to be a part of rodeo. And one of my most memorable takeaways was actually sitting in the truck the first time, seeing that PRCA logo on the back of the seat. That was iconic. I know that's something everybody resonates with. But yeah, it's a pretty slick looking truck. If you haven't looked at it, you can go watch our YouTube reveal video and check it out. Biggest takeaway here, we've talked about this. It's a great truck. We're very excited about it. Now we can't wait to see it all the PRCA events and get the fans involved and let them see. So what's your biggest takeaway moving forward to this year, partnering with the AgWagon and AgTruckTrader team as a part of PRCA?
One of our efforts this year, Jordan, is to get the truck out. We're out in face-to-face where people can look, touch, feel, and just experience the truck. So it will be on site at several events. We haven't released the list of events yet. And so that's going to be an exciting moment for fans to, sit in the truck, try out the different features, just really get up close and personal with the vehicle and understand why we did this. This, again, just it's functionality and it's also beautiful. They're going to be able to take a look at the different color options. PRCA's blue stripe can fit on just about any color, and the PRCA gold stripe as well. And so again, more options. People are just not limited in terms of this truck and what they can go around and shop for. And so it's going to be fun to see the responses from people as they sit in the truck and look at the features and see the branding. It's looking forward to that part of it.
Yeah, 100%. LB, what are your thoughts on seeing fans driving these ag wagons around? Just imagine as we're driving to and from a rodeo, you see maybe some fans pulling in the rodeo in their own Pro Rodeo Edition AgWagon. How would that make you feel?
I think that's what I'm most looking forward to. It's rodeo has just grown so much, I feel like, in the last 5 or 10 years. And it seems like every year it's, like I said, it's changing, it's growing. It's becoming a hot commodity. Obviously, the Cowboy Channel's done a great job bringing a huge highlight to our sport. The new influencers that we have in pro rodeo. And then now, like Miss Darla said, we are going from t-shirts and hoodies to offering a truck. And so whenever people start seeing how amazing it is and all the capabilities that it has, I hope that we get to see it up and down the road, whether, it doesn't matter what you do for a living, but I'm really excited to see farmers and ranchers put it to use. I know that they're going to love it. And then if you're pulling a horse trailer, this is the kind of truck you need. So I'm going to be pretty excited. I think in about a year's fruition, we're going to start seeing Pro Rodeo Edition AgWagons pop up all over the place. And I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. Well, anybody and everybody listening, if you want more information, you can go to agwagon.com, check out all the details, where you can get your truck, where you can find your truck, and pick out all your colors. Yeah, it's going to be a pretty cool deal. Darla, thank you so much for joining us. Leighton, thank you for taking the time. Best of luck in this 2025 season, and we will see you down the road.
Thank you.